Becoming pregnant or having a baby can be both exciting and challenging. It certainly brings a lot of change.
I knew that my life would be different, but I didn't understand that I would be at home most of the time. I wouldn't be able to go and see my friends and family pretty much every time I wanted to. Just felt like everything had changed and I didn't know who I was anymore. And my son wasn't sleeping. So sleep deprivation was a big one for me.
There's so much guidance leading up to and then during the birth and the day or two after while you're still at the hospital, and then all of a sudden we're at home with a brand new baby. I'm like, do we eat? Do we do we sleep? Do we shower? What do we do? What do we do now?
It's natural to have some trouble adjusting to the changes a new baby brings. But when general ups and downs develop into something more serious, it's time to get help. Symptoms can begin during pregnancy or any time in your baby's first year.
Okay, you do it by yourself.
I couldn't switch my thoughts off. It was going a mile a minute and I couldn't decipher what I was really feeling or what I was really thinking because there was too much. Is this how parenthood's meant to be? Is this what it's like being a mum? You know, I'm supposed to be enjoying this. It's meant to be the best time of your life having a baby, and I feel like I'm drowning and can't get out.
That's it.
Different things can put you at risk, from prior mental illness to family violence or isolation, to a difficult pregnancy or a traumatic birth, breastfeeding struggles or an unsettled baby.
I was having an anxiety attack as I was pushing my son out, and to me in my head it couldn't have been any worse. And after those few days after giving birth, I was very zoned out, very disconnected, and I really think that was the start of my postnatal depression journey. So I was really anxious, I was crying, I felt really distant from Zach. My son is the love of my life, like I didn't know what had happened. I started getting quite intrusive thoughts, and I described them as this like horror movie that constantly plays in your head.
Symptoms vary a great deal. Here are some common symptoms, but there are many more.
I found it really difficult to switch off, and once I closed my eyes, that's when the anxiety would become more intense, so I couldn't get to sleep. Physically, like my heart was racing. I felt unease in my stomach and I was feeling tension in my whole body. I used to worry about something happening to my baby, freak accidents, anything. There was a whole range of scenarios that would occur. That went on for about at least 6 months. At the time I downplayed it. I felt like I'm just really overtired. All new parents must feel anxious. I just have to get on with it.
Noticed that Deb would sort of go off to the bedroom and I'd go in there and find her crying and be thinking, oh my God, what have I done? Have I upset her or has something happened? And I'd go in there and talk to her and say, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And she'd be like, nothing. I just feel very like overwhelmed and I just deal with a hug.
Becoming a mother is supposed to be, you know, this natural, joyous time, and I was not experiencing that. And at times I thought, what's wrong with me? Why does everyone else in mother's group seem to have it together? So that made me feel like I wanted to retreat even more and not share what was going on.
We were both so far gone that it was hard to see light at the end of the tunnel. It's hard to see your partner going through it, but at the same time when you're also going through it but not realising you are, and you feel like you've got the weight of everything on your shoulders, and to just feel completely helpless it was a pretty tough time.
Not knowing what postnatal depression was extremely difficult, because that made me really scared and really worried as to what was going on with me. I knew it was this big, terrifying, scary thing that I wanted to avoid at all costs. After I went through it, it was terrifying and it was scary, but knowing that I had postnatal depression and being able to access the help that I needed really showed me that you can get through it and be a stronger person at the end of it as well.
Perinatal anxiety and depression can affect any new or expecting parent. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and the sooner you seek help, the sooner you can start feeling better.
The turning point for me was a visiting midwife. She asked one question, I don't even remember what the question was, but it just opened the floodgates, and I kept the tears, everything sort of came out all at once, and she said, you need to go and talk to your GP and get some help, because that's not just baby blues, that's a little bit more than baby blues.
One night it got to crisis point, and we both looked at each other and said, we need to do something about this. So I actually got online and looked at the Panda website, and I looked at a list of signs and symptoms. I was ticking a lot of those boxes, and I thought, okay, what do I do now? So I called the Panda Helpline, and that's when everything changed.
It took a couple of months, I think, for the medication to really sort of kick in and start improving my emotions. Even after that, probably for, I don't know, maybe around 6 months, it was still maybe a balancing act in getting it to be at the right level. With Sophie, I had it took a physical toll on me, that pregnancy. I already knew that I was heading in that direction with that pregnancy, so I started putting things in place to try and rectify that straight away. I didn't want to go down the medication road straight away, so I was doing mindfulness, and I was still doing art journaling, which I'd learnt after Cooper's pregnancy, so sort of putting strategies in place to try and prevent it from getting quite so severe.
There are many places to get help: your GP, midwife, child health nurse, or another care provider. In an emergency, please call 000 or go to your local hospital. The Panda Helpline is for anyone having a tough time during pregnancy or early parenthood. Our highly trained and caring counsellors will listen to your concerns and help you take your first steps to recovery.
The feeling of relief and just the weight lifting off my shoulders as I spoke and was heard was amazing.
When we could put a name to what was happening, everything kind of started to turn around. I had some counselling, like one-on-one counselling with a professional somewhere along the line, and that was really good for me.
A really helpful part of Panda was having someone who understood to talk to, so someone who really got where your head was at.
As soon as I got the support I needed, something switched, and support from hotlines such as Panda, support from my psychologist, support from family and friends, the support that antidepressants or medication was able to give me as well at the time, really helped me get back on track and allowed me to be that mum that I wanted to be to my son, be the wife that I wanted to be as well, and just back to me.
It's really common for people to wait a really long time before they seek help, and it feels like a really big thing to do, but it's totally worth it.
There's a lot of people out there who are just like, what's wrong with you? Just harden up, you'll be right, keep going on with your day.
It's okay to reach out for help. It doesn't make you a weak person. You just need sometimes the extra support to function emotionally when you've had a baby. It's not all about roses and a beautiful time. It's quite a big change in your life, and that's okay. And it's okay to reach out, and to reach out early. Don't leave it till it gets to the point where you're in a really bad way.
Visit Panda online for information, personal stories, and Panda's interactive mental health checklist, which provides an easy, anonymous way to check in on your own or a loved one's emotional and mental well-being.
You're not alone. There's help out there. Don't be afraid to ask for it. You're going to get better, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. And just the first step is saying there's something wrong and I need help.